Why is transparency lacking in ethical cost-benefit analysis? Imagine trying to decide if a new highway should be built, but you can't see all the details behind the decision. That's what happens often with ethical cost-benefit analysis. Governments use this tool to weigh the good and bad of policies by assigning dollar values to outcomes. But when ethics come into play, things get complicated. Ethical cost-benefit analysis looks beyond money to consider rights, fairness, and social values. Transparency means showing exactly how these decisions are made, what data is used, and how ethical questions are handled. Yet, in practice, transparency is often missing. One reason is that putting a dollar value on things like environmental damage or human dignity is really hard. Values like fairness or respect don't fit neatly into numbers. When agencies try to include ethics, they might hide how they handle these tricky issues. If the public sees some harms are ignored or undervalued, trust in the process can drop. Agencies may fear that revealing their methods could expose biases or ethical compromises. Politics also plays a big role. Public agencies often face pressure from different groups trying to influence decisions. Sometimes, decision-makers want to justify policies that benefit certain interests. To do that, they might keep parts of the analysis secret. When details are hidden, it's harder for outsiders to spot bias or unfairness. This secrecy can protect agencies from criticism, but also makes it easier for unethical influences to slip through unnoticed. There are practical challenges too. Conducting a fully transparent ethical cost-benefit analysis takes time and resources. Agencies might lack enough staff or expertise to document every assumption and source. Even when they do, technical language and complex models can make reports confusing for regular people. This creates a gap between the idea of transparency and what actually gets shared. Another issue is the ethical debate itself. Some critics say that trying to put a price on human life or environmental health is inherently problematic. When these decisions are made behind closed doors, it raises questions about whose values are prioritized. For example, policies affecting vulnerable groups might be evaluated with methods that don't fully capture their experiences. Without openness, it's impossible to know if their needs are truly considered. In public policy and law, transparency matters because it affects how people participate and trust the system. When ethical cost-benefit analyses are secretive, the public has less chance to challenge or understand decisions that impact their lives. This can lead to policies that look good on paper but hide costs or consequences for certain communities. Some experts suggest setting clearer standards for how these analyses are done and reported. This means showing not just the final numbers but also explaining why certain choices were made, where data came from, and how uncertainties are handled. Making this process more open could help rebuild trust and ensure that ethical concerns are not pushed aside by politics or economics. In the end, the lack of transparency in ethical cost-benefit analysis comes down to the difficulty of measuring values, political pressures, and resource constraints. When openness is missing, it can undermine fairness and trust in public decisions. Addressing this requires better methods and a real commitment to making the process clear and accountable to everyone it affects.